All right, so we have all this data, right? And if you look at this because he's using prop stream, this is already done. Now, you can add a new column for these two, the on market and the tags. And we'll get to that a little bit later. But realistically, everything here is exact. Like it's mapped directly into the system. There's no need to change anything except for our phone numbers and our emails. Now, again, I've already created an in-depth way. It works for EasyLOI, it works for 2.0, it works for every single piece of data you put into your system. But I'm going to go over it regardless again, right? Because I think it's really, really important. And a lot of people skip this step and then they come back and like, hey, why is my SMS suspended? Well, that's because you didn't make sure the phone numbers were correct. And you sent a text message to a landline and you got yourself suspended from Twilio. So you want to make sure these are all mobile lines and they're all active. And the same thing with the emails. We want to make sure they're actual legit emails because prop stream batch leads doesn't have accurate data, right? And you'll notice some of these don't even have phone numbers, or maybe they're even missing emails sometimes. I guess we got lucky here, where we got all the emails. Or maybe John, you already put it through your little filter thing. We'll talk about that later. But either way, you want to make sure that all of these phone numbers and emails are correct and validated, right? And so what we use for this is two different tools, right? Now we're not really affiliated with them, right, at all. Um, but I recommend using Phone Validator and I recommend using Bulk Email Checker, right? So Bulk Email Checker, both of them are usage based, meaning that they will charge you depending on how much data you have, right? And so right off the bat, you want to go ahead and create accounts with these. If you don't have an account, again, email is pretty much dirt cheap, right? It's based off credits, right? You upload into your account. Phone numbers, there is a minimum requirement of data, or they're going to charge you for that minimum amount that you didn't exceed. So it's better to have more data with the phone validator stuff. They're not our companies, but they are something to help the data that you get from PropStream, batch leads, deal saws, PropWire, because it's always incorrect. And so we want to validate that information before we put it inside the CRM. So first things first, we need to do phone numbers and then we need to do emails. So if we go to bulk email checker, once you create an account, you'll get into a dashboard like this. And you might, depending on the scenario, might want to buy, more credits or whatever. I think they give you free credits too to start. But we're going to go to the bulk verify and we're going to choose a file. And John just gave me one. So I believe it was the one in Jacksonville, right? Or Houston. And then we're just going to label this one right now, Houston test for this example. And we're going to go ahead and import that. And it'll take a minute. So we're going to let it run. Yeah, say automatically it selects the email because it kind of knows. If maybe it's selected on a different column, just select the email column and then we'll go ahead and click select. This will end up running. It could take 5 minutes. It could take an hour if you have tens of thousands of data, right? Like just keep that in mind. And I believe they have a way of like speeding it up by using more credits. I don't really think it's that important. Go start it, go make yourself a cup of coffee, come back, it should be done. And then next thing we have, of course, is phone validator. Now, phone validator, again, it's cost per line that you have on there. And so let's go to batch. When you create an account with them, you're going to submit a batch, right? And notice here the cost. It's always going to be $35 no matter how much data you have until you get to like above a threshold of I want to say it's like 1800. I could be mistaken, but like just keep that in mind. Like it's four cents to verify, every single piece of data. So you want to have more data so you're not getting charged the minimum amount. If you're smart, you probably just upload a larger amount of data, let's say for an entire month worth of work, and then you just don't have to worry about it. But anyways, so listen, it's going to repeat exactly what I just said just now. You're going to upload your file, decide how to pay, and blah, 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 right? So we're going to click submit batch. What we want to do is the one that's sorry, I misspoke. It's not 4 cents. It's less than a cent, but we're gonna go ahead and select the one that's, a fourth of a cent, and then we're gonna go ahead and hit continue. And it's going to give you exact instructions. So your phone numbers must be in column A and all the other columns must be empty. Okay. So what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to come here and I'm going to take this column W because this is the phone number, right? And I'm going to go ahead and copy it. And I'm going to create a new tab, new sheet, and I'm going to paste it. And then I'm going to re-download this as a CSV file. And now that that's downloaded, I'm going to go back to the phone validator and I'm going to go ahead and select that file that I just downloaded. And then this one was 253, this one. And we're going to go ahead and click continue. And yes, it's going to charge me $35 for 34 numbers. That is a ripoff. Okay, so make sure you have enough data. But for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and do it because I don't care. This is for example purposes, and we're going to let this go. So it's going to ask me to add funds or a card payment. I'm going to go ahead and add my card payment and show you what it looks like on the other end. So let me do this real quick for you guys. And let me pay that. Let's see, hopefully it went through. All right, so done. So this is what happens once you add your card to it, right? It's going to give you a success. Your job is started. You want to go back to the batch page and see the status of it. So we're going to go here and right away, it's going to say that it's in progress. Again, this probably will not take that long. If you refresh the page, it could be done right now, but we'll come back to it. At the same time, if we go back to our bulk email checker, notice how I'm doing this simultaneously so I can just get it done, right? And be out of the way. So it's done processing in here, but now we got to pay 47 validation credits. Notice I have 11,000. So like I already bought them ahead of time and I can boost it by paying more to make it go faster. Well, it's only 47 emails. It's going to take 6 minutes. So we'll just go ahead and finish it faster by boosting it for this example. Because I don't feel like waiting, but until both of these are done. So this one's completely done. The status is it's ready to go. So we can go ahead and click on details. And then there's your download link. We're going to go ahead and download it. And looks like their button is not working. Oh, it's still in progress. Completed. Download. Okay. So now we got the new file. Again, what are we going to do with this? Well, we're going to take it and we're going to add it to the existing data that we already have, right? And so I'm going to open this also in Google Sheets and show you guys what it looks like. So notice, again, there's a lot of data management here, right? I have multiple spreadsheets open. I have multiple tabs open. We don't need the phone validator anymore, so we can go ahead and close it, right? We're done with that. We're just waiting 3 minutes now for the emails. And so if I go back to this, well, what did the phone numbers do? Well, number one, we have some unknown ones, but look at this first one. It's a landline. If you uploaded this into your system and you texted them, you would have gotten suspended. So keep that in mind. This one's a VoIP, same idea. This is a landline, this is a VoIP. So some of these are toll free. And so if we're not cleaning our data, guys, like we have how many phone numbers in here? If we go back to this thing, right now we have 35 phone numbers. Well, out of those 35, how many of them are actually like clean, right? Like that you can actually text them, because sometimes they'll even tell you it's a fake number. They'll tell you that the phone is disconnected. They'll give you a reason, right? There's a fake reason. There's a fake number column. Now, none of these are, right? But let's say they were. Well, how does that benefit you in any way? And so you're wasting resources, you're wasting money, and you're not cleaning your data. You're ruining your system. So now that we have this, what I like to do is essentially take these two columns. So I'm going to take these two columns from the data that was cleaned, and I'm going to let's insert a column here to the left so I have a space. I'm actually going to overwrite the current ones I have. So what did it do? It kept them in the same exact rows. It didn't change anything, but it added this additional column right here. So this basically allows me to sort the data that we have here or create a filter and essentially take out anything that's not a cell phone. And once we do that, we can filter our data and delete the numbers or go find different numbers, put them onto a different sheet, go find the numbers later, do what you need to do. But I'm going to wait for the emails because LOI blasting is more about emails, right? We're cold emailing them. And so I really care about the emails more than I care about the phone lines. If it's a landline, I'd rather just, completely take out the number, right? So we're not calling them or texting them because we still have their email. So when they reply back, they typically put their phone number in the signature, and that's a valid phone number. We can always take it later. So let's go back to the bulk email checker. Hopefully this has completed. This will be complete in just a few minutes. Process, it's exporting, so it's basically done. But notice looking at this, out of all those emails, only 66% of those emails were correct. So again, if you sent out 100 offers, only 66% of them are actually correct emails that you can send an email to, and the 44% of them, or whatever the percent is, let's say 40%, will bounce and affect your domain reputation. And this is where people mess up. This is where people fail miserably when it comes to any type of cold outreach marketing, right? Because they're not cleaning their data. And what did this cost me? 47 credits on these properties. It probably wasn't even a few pennies, right, to do it. The phone numbers are more expensive. So keep that in mind, right? Like this is really important. This means that out of 47 properties that we have inside here, well, only 66% of them are actually correct. And therefore, we got some incorrect emails, which means we cannot upload those into the system. And we're not going to. So what are we going to do? Well, first off, we're going to wait until this finishes so we can actually export. All right. So final cost, we're going to go ahead and click export all the emails, right? Because I want to show you guys something. And then we're going to upload that into our Google Drive again and open this up. Where are you guys? This one. So once again, new file. It's going to pretty much give us the same exact spreadsheet. But on the right-hand side, it's going to give us this status, right? It's going to give us a detail of that email. So this particular email passed all the tests. This one is active on the server, but it's unknown, so we don't know. Are we going to take the chance and send an email to an unknown email status? I mean, I wouldn't, right? Some of them don't end up processing or can't be found. This one's failed, right? The address is a role account. Not sure what that means. Gray listing, and then inconclusive. So like you're going to find different statuses. What I like to do is just ignore the details right now. It's not that important to me. What I really care about is these. So I'm going to take, again, I'm going to copy all of them, and I'm going to go back to our original spreadsheet that we have, and I'm going to paste it on top of the emails. Okay. Same way I did the phone numbers. But now when I do create a data filter in here, because we're focused primarily on the emails because we're LOI blasting, I do not want failed. I do not want unknown. I do not want unprocessed. I just want the past. So if I go ahead and click on that, well, these are the properties that I have only. Okay. And so this is the clean ones. Well, what about the ones that were not passed? Let's say I do the opposite and I choose the other ones. Well, now I have these. Wouldn't it just be smart to be like, okay, I don't need these. Let me just go ahead and delete them, right? Or instead of doing that, maybe we go ahead and move them, right, into a new sheet. Let's just say I paste it here, and that's wrong how I did that. Let me go ahead and for now, let's just go ahead and copy them for now. Let's just say I put them in here and then I rename this and say unknown emails, right? So later when I have time, I can go find, maybe go on Google, maybe go skip trace them manually, go do what I want, because these properties I can't send offers on. At least I can't blast. Now, maybe your strategy is to call these people first and then ask for their email, right? But then, you got to be careful with the phone numbers, right? And so in this case, I would just suggest, honestly, so let's just go ahead and undo everything I just did right now. What we really care about is the past ones, okay? And so these past ones now you can upload into your system. Because you guys are going to hear me a lot talk about compliance, right? Like to me, that's more important than blasting out a million offers, right? Because when you look at longevity, you guys are starting a business, not a hobby, right? We're not here to go blow and send a million emails tomorrow and then stop doing business again. If you wanted to do that, skip this entire step, right? But don't complain to me when your accounts, get suspended through Twilio, or maybe your email domains get shut down and so forth. And this is why people have so many problems with LOI Blaster. They don't do this step. They don't talk about it. They don't understand this. They don't know what compliance is. And this is why I am very heavy when it comes down to this stuff. Right now, we have all this data. I've already organized it by status, right? Inside of here, but I'm going to go ahead and just put this on a new sheet real quick, just so it's organized and clean, and these are passed. And I'm going to refilter this. And realistically, all these unknowns, that's fine because it's empty. But this one's a landline. I don't want to upload a landline into my system because I'm going to prioritize emails. And again, this is your choice. You could put them in there, just don't text them. Like, please don't text the landline, right? And like, you're not going to get anywhere with it. Same thing with the VoIPs, toll free is fine. You can call, you might not be able to text them. So as well, I'd probably do the same thing and go ahead and remove it. I know some people like to keep these, but I'm just showing you my process to show you guys the safest way to not get into trouble with Twilio later on down the line. And so we had originally 47 properties or whatever it was, and now we only have 30, right? And out of those 30, we only have 11 valid phone numbers. But since we're doing LOI blasting, we really just care that these emails are correct so we can send them offers. And then we could always find phone numbers later. Right off the bat, let's just say this is our clean data, right? I'm just going to rename this cleaned right now, just so I can keep myself organized. But the next step really is just uploading it into your system, right? You could go take the time. I'm not going to take the time right now to go find valid phone numbers, right? But I would suggest you do to have a competitive edge over everyone else. John, can you correct me if I made a mistake or not? Because I know you've been doing this like every other day. Do you add the column on market here, or do you not even worry about that?
I do. I put on/off market, and then I mark them all on market.
Okay. So
And
I might have to just re-upload this again, but
yeah, do on/off market. Other way.
okay. And these are all
For
on
the
market.
for the heading is on/off market.
Okay. I'll fix that in a second. And then the rest are just on market. That's how you word it, right? I
Yep.
know I wrote it, I just didn't do it.
Yep.
So it
And
automatically
I
maps.
add a couple more just for me. I put single family on there if they're single family, and then I
So
do
like
other things
property
you can.
type.
Yeah, property type.
Yeah, so we'll do this because I'm sure other people want it too. So we'll go ahead and just do it right away. Um, all right, and then the tag you just added afterwards, correct?
Correct.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and re-download this CSV file. So if you're doing an on-market property, the system needs to know that it's an on-market property so it knows what templates to use. So if we're dealing with agents, right? Well, we need to mention that it's on market so it uses the agent version of templates. So we're talking to an agent. If it's an off-market property, we want to mention off-market here. And therefore, when we upload a list that are off-market deals, we're using templates that are talking to a seller. So we're not talking about commissions. We're not talking about certain things in our LOIs and stuff. So again, this system works for both off market and off market. And this is why we need to make sure this is correct.